All right, Drew Thompson, we're
What's
on.
up, Trey?
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for sitting down and making some time for me.
Yeah.
So we'll start simple. How you feeling headed into this weekend?
Feeling good. I did pull with Devin last weekend
Yeah,
or last week, I guess. So, we pulled pretty hard, obviously.
yeah,
So recovering from that a little bit still, just barely, but feeling good. Um, Eating good now.
that's
Life's
really
been
good.
crazy, so the weight dropped a little bit, but I'm gaining it all back. So,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. I know life's been pretty crazy. I got a chance to talk to you after the last tournament that was like
Yeah.
2 3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
How'd you feel about your performance there, and what's
I
different?
think it kind of went as I expected. My preparation going into that day was pretty uh, relaxed. I wasn't that was more like a practice for me. Just to kind of gauge where I was at. I hadn't spent a whole lot of time on the table recently because of life and what's been happening. So, uh, but training. I keep my hands busy. When I can.
Yeah,
So I still have been chipping away. Adding to the wall. So.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I got a couple wins there, and then I lost to the guy who won the tournament, and then I had a loss against Brian Stocker, I think, and I was
No
very
slump.
very close to pinning him, and maybe I got a pin. I don't know. Some people were saying I maybe got it, but I don't think I pinned him, but it was
And
very
that guy was
close.
no
I ended up having to kind of try to flop on him to finish, and that didn't play out like I thought it would. But yeah, so that was a good match. You watched that how when he finished, he like had this his whole body started like shaking and stuff. So
Oh yeah,
he
that's
put it all on
right.
the line there.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
he had like an adrenaline dump or something, and I was up there just chilling. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, so walking away from that, you're not super disappointed in your performance.
No, I mean it went as expected. I weighed in, 165 that day
Yeah, for
with
a
everything in my
166.
pockets. So it's super light and not where I normally am at. Typically I'm cutting down from 185 or 190, and I'm cutting down to meet that weight, and so this time I'm not having to do any cutting, so that'll be good. Um, but
Where are you sitting right now?
I think this morning I was like 170,
One
so
second.
I'm right where I need to be. If I'm gonna keep pushing, the food this week, and if I get up over, then I'll make a tiny little cut to be at weight on Friday.
Yeah.
Um, but
Are
I
you
don't think that
are you
I'll
just doing rehab right now for training and
lightweight stuff, bands, just kind of keeping the blood flowing.
yeah,
Been been riding a bike a little bit, just trying to keep my health up.
yeah,
That's kind of something that's cardio has always been a pain, so
yeah, yeah,
trying to add that in more.
yeah. And for this particular event, I was talking to Heath about. I don't think, in fact, I'm pretty sure this has never been done before. Um,
Yeah.
this kind of this format, the flash pin trials, as it's called, has never been done before. But what's interesting about it is that you have faced. I don't know if you faced Draper before, Daryl Draper.
I've only pulled with him one time casually after a tournament. And of course, if you ever done any after pulling with Draper, he's a super nice guy, and he's not gonna, you know, lay into your arm. He's gonna let you work a little bit. So he did that, and I asked him to show me what's up. This was several years ago,
Yeah,
and of course, he ripped me to the pad.
yeah,
But I've made some changes in my training, and I've made some improvements. So I'll be eager to pull with him again
yeah.
and see how we pressure up.
Yeah, and what's fascinating too is that, um, so and for the most part, I would say Heath and Tapia, Getsy Tapia, they have been in the sport. Heath's been in the sport for now 4 years. I think it's been 3 for Tapia, and then you would probably be around the 5 or 6 range.
I started my very first practice on a real table was January of 2019.
2019. So you're
So what is that? 6.5 years, maybe?
yeah, 6.5 years.
Yeah.
What was interesting is that and I bring that up because time obviously makes a difference, as you were just saying with Draper.
For
It
sure.
makes, especially when you're so new to the sport. However, on the other end of that, you beat Tapia. I believe it was at States in 23, so it's right at the end of the year, leading into 24. If I'm thinking of that correctly, yeah, it's usually.
I think that's right.
Yep, and you beat him there. And then, fast forward, you have a super match with Heath Chisty, and he 3-0s you on the right hand. And I remember talking to you afterwards, and you felt like you knew exactly what was going wrong and what you needed to work on and improve on.
Yeah.
And then, but then following that, if I'm getting my timelines correct, which I think I am, Tapia beats Heath at the Eastern qualifiers in Houston. And
I know
so
Tapia's been climbing, so he's doing well. He's working hard. He's obviously very hungry and eager to improve. So it's been fun to see him get some good wins.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to gripping up with him again. So that'll be fun.
It'd be fun. What is your how do you envision this going? I mean, because you're going to get a chance to pull everybody. That's the
thing. I guess it's going to, obviously if you get a hard, barn burner of a match, that's tough to follow up. And if the other person had an easy win and you're going up against someone, so that'll always be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. So if something like that happens, I imagine, all bets are off.
Yeah.
But I think if I can not get opened up and stay fresh, like I see myself doing pretty well. I feel pretty strong. I think with the weight drop that I've had, surprisingly, I feel pretty good. The few practices that I've had feel really good. And now that I'm gaining some of that weight back, I feel like my strength is going to be a little bit better than even that. So one of the things that I struggle with is probably my intensity. I'm super chill, and I love arm wrestling. It's a lot of fun for me, so I don't get super caught up in the wins and losses. But obviously I love winning more than losing, and so I'm gonna do everything I can to get the win. So I'll bring some more aggression this time.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Heath was talking about that actually in our interview that we did last night. He said that one of the final things that he said is that he wants everybody to match his energy, and if he's got to lead the way, he'll lead the way.
He's got that second gear that most people don't really have. He can dig a little deeper, find some of those demons, and they got his back. So
that's a cool way.
I gotta find my demons and summon them. So
I love that.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. You won't see it, but it'll be there. Yeah.
Do you think that pulling both of these guys could potentially give you an edge in this?
Yeah.
Despite the results of what happened, do you think that it would give you a strategic edge maybe?
I don't know. I think I know what to expect, so there's no real unknown as far as like styles go and setups. And so if I can just set up the way that I need to get comfortable, then make the other person uncomfortable, that's going to be something that I usually do pretty well. One of the things about Flash Pin is the grip is pretty controlled, so that's pretty limited for me. Whereas like in a tournament or something, I'm usually able to kind of wiggle into a little bit better spot than in a real strict, ref's grip. Plus the refs are pretty fatigued on a tournament day. Everyone's going to be super focused on this one, so it's a little bit different dynamic as far as that goes. So
that's one of the things that not only did Heath talk about this yesterday, but that I've heard multiple times people say about you is that you're very dynamic and understanding of when you need to make changes and when you need to change your path forward. That you're smart on the table. Your table IQ is high, and maybe you could attribute that to your experience in the sport. Which
Yeah,
makes
I've been super hungry to learn this game, and so since day one, I've been on YouTube watching every video from all the experts. There's so many content creators that make good content, training videos, strategies and how to set up and different techniques and all that stuff. So I've been studying all that stuff for a long time. And I think my background before arm wrestling with a little bit of powerlifting, been in the gym a lot. Strength's been something I've always been interested in. So applying some of that stuff that I've learned about strength in general, applying it to all the stuff that you learn through the techniques and training of arm wrestling, I think that kind of gives me a little bit of an edge to your general, arm wrestler that's out there. So
yeah,
I'm excited to try and put it down. So,
I find it interesting that you bring up, and you could probably attribute this to you being one of the only people, I think the only person that's been on every Flash Pen. But it's cool that you recognize and remember from the last one, there's no cadence. It's a referee's grip from the start. You remember that it was a big problem for a lot of people, and it was told. Marcus Tedesco, being the head ref, he was trying to stress to everybody, like, this is different. We're doing this different. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because Heath talked in his interview that he was not talking about that.
Heath and I did discuss it that day after he beat me there, and he did acknowledge the setup was a little bit in his favor. Not that it was an unfair setup, but it neutralized what I was trying to do. So yeah.
So cool that you're thinking about that now, and that is implemented into how you're going to approach this. Well, that's very cool. Do you think you're being counted out by any stretch?
I might be a little bit of a sleeper to a lot of people. I'm not very active on the social media, but I'm lurking in the shadows, kind of keeping an eye on everybody and seeing what's happening out there, seeing who's making moves. And so, yeah, I might be, I'm also a super nice guy, right? Like, I'm not going to get up there and try to intimidate people and do this and that. And, when I practice with people, I'm not there to get pins. I kind of have the same philosophy as maybe Devin does, right? Just kind of hang out in the center of the table if you're the better guy. And then if someone's better than you, just do good work with that person if they let you. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my mind's usually at.
Well, I'm hoping to see a little bit of those demons that you're talking about come out.
I need to dig deep and access that. They're there. It's just I keep them put away, locked away. So
I'm super looking forward to it, man. Well, thank you for your time. One last thing, anything you want to say to the other guys before we jump off here?
Yeah, I mean, I had this weird little like bump on my arm. It's like, I don't know what it is. But it's kind of bugging me. So I don't know if this will help or not, but I'm hoping you guys can work through that little bump that I got on my arm.
Drew Thompson, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to this weekend. We'll see you soon. I think we may be doing another interview Friday or Saturday.
All right.
But that'll be on set and everything.
Yeah.
Drew Thompson, thank you, sir.
Sounds good. All right. See y'all.
See you soon.